Hello, listening people.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 indeed. Happy holidays, Bartek. How are you doing?
Very well, Ryan. How are you doing?
I'm feeling just like I'm needing the break. It's been very hectic year for me. Lots of work, lots of podcasting, lots of family stuff, lots of just social events, and here we are winding down the year to do our final podcast of the year, and I'm just sitting back, and it's that thing of like I'm both excited to have a bit of a break, but I'm also just ready to jump in for the next part of the journey. So yeah, that's where I'm at. How do you feel in regards to that stuff in general?
It's funny, whenever we do have a break, there is like a enjoyable thing of like, I don't have to travel all the way down, I can just take the day off. But then there does come a point, it's like, but I kind of want to get back to podcasting. So yeah, I enjoy and miss both elements, like at the same time every time. At the moment, I'm keen for the break, but I know that within like a week or two, it's going to be the, two-way tug of war.
The social occasion of it all, you and I getting to meet in person and chatting about a movie, but also for me, I just love doing our podcast here where we go through recommendations. It's always like a little gift. Oh, what will it be this time? And the joy of being the person who also recommends a thing, being like, oh yeah, now I've got to really think through what I'm going to do and how will the other person react and will people listen along, all of that stuff. And we're here to talk about a holiday film that someone recommended. Each time we finish out the year, we often try to go for some sort of holiday affair, whether it's a Christmas movie or other types of things. This time round, we have one that's not directly a Christmas movie, but it is a film that is beloved at this time of year in Europe. And who recommended this? Was it you, Bartek? Did you recommend the film we're talking today?
For the first time in years, I am not the one who picked the Christmas film.
A foreign Christmas film. It's been so long.
It's been so long since we've done an American one.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they exist? Do other countries
we've done 2 or 3 American Christmas films.
I don't believe you. It feels like that isn't true. It's so long now. Maybe I'm saying that because it's been like 5 years since my last Christmas
It was like the second or third one.
So it wasn't me that recommended it then.
No, for the second time ever, the listening people got to pick the Christmas film.
And what a film it is.
Maybe you'll get your second time next year.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe you'll get your 14th foreign Christmas film pick. Yeah, you thought you had a breather this year, but wait till next year.
Oh, dude, if we somehow squeezed in one more episode, it would have fallen on me again. It would have been another foreign one.
Oh, man. But this is 3 Wishes for Cinderella, a Czech movie with a returning cavalcade of people behind the scenes of this, as well as in front of the camera. We are big fans of Czech and or Czechoslovakian cinema. We've enjoyed it before we started this podcast, and during our 10 years now, we've sprinkled in a few to talk about, and we asked the listening people always, if you have recommendations, let us know. If there's anything out there, let us know. We say that all the time, but with the Czech movies, we just love the cinema we've seen from them, and we always just say, hey, are there any other Czech movies we should check out? Like, we have our lane that we've been driving on, but we want to know, are there any other actors or directors, eras, styles that we should go towards? And we've had a bounty of comments over the years giving us suggestions, and this was one of them.
Yeah, and I don't know how it happened, but I found out a couple of months ago that we have an IMDb listing for our podcast, and basically the only things in terms of like episodes listed are the Czech ones. And one other one. But
Pink Panther.
Pink Panther, yes.
For some reason. We did not make that IMDb account.
No.
I technically do have an IMDb since I've done some acting, so then I guess another Ryan Slawinski is being credited for...
Yeah, you need to contact IMDb and say, hey, these 2 Ryan Slawinskis are the same.
They're the same.
And it's me.
It's me. But that's a great point. I can't wait for this one to be added to the list.
Yes, and every single thing that we reference gets added to the reference list, so just keep listing things you like.
Yeah, keep listing people, events, characters,
The Boy
movies,
Next Door.
The Boy Next Door.
Cube 2, Hypercube.
Urutsuki Doji, Legend of the Demon Womb.
Yes.
So,
not the other one.
not the other one.
Does that count as a reference?
No. They have to have a transcript to understand what we're
Right.
saying. Now, Three Wishes for Cinderella obviously is a Cinderella tale.
Yes, the 1973 version.
The 1973 version. There is a newer version, that's correct. Like from 2023, I want to say.
It's like
somewhere
this decade,
very close to where we are now. But this is the original Czech film. It's a take on Cinderella. Everyone, you know Cinderella. Everyone, you've experienced some version of Cinderella, and this is another one. But it's got its own flair. It's got its own zaniness. It's very much a Czech movie. You see familiar faces and just familiar filming styles. And this is also a co-production with Germany.
East Germany.
East Germany. So this
there was a wall in Berlin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was almost like watching a spaghetti western because we have other people in the film speaking their own language that are then dubbed over. And so the lips don't match up, but then half of them do. So it's a very disorientating effect because we haven't seen that in a Czech film before because we've only watched ones that were from Czechoslovakia, not a co-production.
Yes,
not ones
mono-language, I think.
Yeah. And so this is... that leapt out to me from the very beginning because I was just seeing like, some people's mouths are just completely moving differently to what I'm hearing. And I just thought, okay. And then I read a trivia point that not only corroborated that, like that is the case. Germans are speaking Germans, Czech are speaking Czech. I don't know if you saw this trivia yourself, but I want to say it was the Norwegian dub of this movie is unusual because it's just one person doing it on their own.
Yeah, it sounded like they didn't use the word, but it sounded like they were describing a lector.
But they're actually doing a proper dub, unlike a lector, which is just like plainly describing plainly just giving you information. It sounds like this person was acting.
Yeah, I didn't look.
Which I hope they are. I want to hear them strained to do the prince's voice and the stepmother's voice.
No, I didn't look into the IMDb trivia, but I did read up some stuff about it, and apparently, like in Norway, like that original dub with that one guy is like, the classic. It's a Wonderful Life.
So, let's get into this. Neither of us had seen this film before.
Nope, other than when I tracked it down and I had to watch a certain bit over and over again to make sure it was working.
Yes, and other than that, I did not know much going in other than like, it's a Czech film. It's apparently a holiday affair. It's not directly a Christmas movie,
but holiday
it has that vibe. It's snowy. I assumed that there would be returning people for us, whether they be actors or directors, and that is the case.
Yeah,
that is very much the case.
I didn't look into it, but you mentioned one. I'm like, oh, that is a big one.
Yes, we have Cinderella herself is returning because she also worked with this director.
Later down the line,
a couple years later in
How to Drown Dr. Mraček the Lawyer.
And this director also did The Girl on the Broomstick, which we covered earlier this year.
Yes,
earlier this year. So
100% dislikes on our episode on YouTube.
It's because we were very harsh on. Yeah. I was very harsh on this director. It seems like it's a recurring thing for me with this director. So like, I don't know. The last two movies we covered of his, I was a little less impressed by. I
loved Dr. Mraček.
You liked it more than I did.
Oh, I don't remember.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking of myself. I'm
you
selfish.
Think about yourself. So tell me about yourself. Tell me about what you were expecting going into this movie and what you got coming out.
So obviously Cinderella is in the title, so it does bring to mind like, okay, maybe it's going to be an adaptation of that, or maybe there is going to be some sort of twist. And generally it is an adaptation, not really much of a twist. It omits some elements, like there's no fairy godmother, there's no midnight thing.
There's 3 wishes.
Yeah, you got 3 wishes instead of just the one. And so I walked in open-minded, like, okay, what are you going to hit me with? I already know some of the vibe because I had to track down this film a while back.
It is on YouTube.
Yes, so here's the thing. I don't remember all of the details, but I found many copies of it, and all of them had some issue to them, whether it was like bad quality or the subtitle sync was off. And I remember the YouTube one also being one that, wasn't very good. Eventually, I found a copy with good visuals and a copy with good subtitles, and I stole both those elements and put them together.
Okay.
I didn't look into the subtitles too closely, though. So when I watched, before I watched the film, you sent me a message saying that the subtitles are. I
Have a
kind of.
quirk, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, and I didn't know what you meant by that. I was initially going to watch this film this morning, but I watched it last night just because I was really curious, and I don't want the quirks of those subtitles to color my review of the film too much, but I loved the subtitles.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's
Yeah.
keep going with the actual film itself. Like you said, it's Cinderella. How much are they going to put a twist on it, and how much is it going to just be directly what you think of it? There is some differences. Obviously, no fairy godmother is, glass slippers, just a normal shoe. Cinderella is obviously still grubby and poor, but there's definitely an emphasis on the prince as a character in this film.
Hmm.
He has very much a strong personality, and
Yeah, dynamic with his parents.
he feels almost equal to her as the lead
That's
of
a
the
good
movie,
observation,
I would
yeah.
say. Something that, when we talk about like Cinderella, the Disney Cinderella comes to mind for so many people. There's a sequel to the Disney Cinderella that's like from the prince's point of view that people seem to enjoy. That's also about like one of the ugly stepsisters messing around with time, I think. And it just made me think of that a little bit, like, oh, what happens if the prince was more of a proper character? Something that if, talking about these Disney remakes, they did do a Disney remake of Cinderella and they did not emphasize that at all. But I feel like if they waited 8 years, that would have been like the pushing point of like,
I think that was like the first one of these live
yep,
action remakes.
Kenneth
Yeah.
Branagh
Yeah.
directed that.
I remember seeing the trailer for that, and I'm like, oh, that just seems like straightforward.
Kate Blanchett as the ugly stepmom. Because Kate Blanchett really exudes
Aren't
that
they?
energy.
Aren't they doing a film now that's like about one of the stepsisters?
Sure. I imagine they're doing a film of everything. But, so we've established like this film does go down the traditional beats with some minor variations. Not as absurdist as I was hoping for it to be. It has its flourishes.
I was kind of bracing myself for that, so yeah, it didn't hit me as hard.
I guess because early on, Cinderella has the ability to call birds to her, and it's just such a ludicrous thing as they throw doves at this actress's face.
Well,
and
she generally has an affinity with animals. Like there's like
Yeah.
4 or 5 different species of animals in this film that she has a relationship with.
Oh, there's a million species of animals just in the movie. There's a lot of animals and there's a lot of costumes.
Yeah, like she has the horse she loves. There's all the birds that come and
The
help
owl.
her. The owl. She's got a pet cat that had
Mhm.
one scene. Needed more scenes, guys. There's a dog.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are the 5 like major ones.
Yeah.
But even then, like one of the prince's friends has a horse that, based on their dialogue, is like, "Oh, that horse is untamable. Only you could ride that one," and she rides it just fine.
There was a fox as well in the movie. Did you mention the fox?
No.
They hunt the fox. It
Yeah,
was
I
very
don't
upsetting.
remember. I don't remember if Cinderella interacted with the fox though.
No, just the film itself
Yeah.
had a lot of animals.
She kills a bird of prey.
Yeah, but it did have little flourishes, but not a striking amount. So it's very straight faced. So what did you think of the movie overall?
I liked it though. It was a nice little vibey kind of film. I kind of get what they mean by this is a film that you'd watch during the holidays because yeah, it's light. The snowy environments is really nice to look at. The music was great. Like the music throughout the whole film was just this original score.
Mhm.
Felt very much like old timey.
I liked the aesthetic. I loved the costumes. Big costume designer went on to win an Academy Award for Amadeus, and he also did the costumes for Tomorrow I'll Wake Up and Scold Myself with Tea, which is a film we've covered before, as well as Amadeus we've covered as well. But yeah, the costumes were like one of the striking things about the movie. Whether it was from the poor people to the rich people, there was a certain rationale of thought put into the outfits where they were wacky, but not like so wacky that it made me believe that this film was wholeheartedly a fantasy, even though there is fantastical elements at play in the story. There was a certain groundedness to the movie that I was a bit surprised by, but I found it like a pleasant surprise. Yeah, it was okay. I wish it was it's one of these ones where I wish it was just over an hour long. Like if this was similar length to what's that film we did last year with the interesting name, Far Evenings.
Evening on a farm near Dukanka.
Yeah, that one was just
It's like a straight hour, right?
yeah, straight hour. I kind of wish this had that. It was just you know the story. You just go, okay, they're doing the thing, and we get to the point near the end where it's like, oh, she's just lost her shoe, and we're gonna do that bit now. But I was like, oh, there's only a couple of minutes left. Like we really take our time to go through this,
Yeah, it's like
and
83 minutes long, I think.
yeah,
Cut off like 15 minutes, you reckon?
yeah, that was just my big sticking point with the movie was just it's very languid in what it's doing, but at the same time I can see why that would be the appeal to this because it has to have this serene imagery and it is just taking a very lackadaisical approach to this story. So, on my end, I thought this was just okay. Like, yeah, it was okay.
Hmm.
It's a I was explaining to my wife about the movie. She said, "Oh, how was it?" And I said, "It was Cinderella." And she's like, "Yeah, but how was it?" It was Cinderella. It was okay. Like, I don't know, like how like much more to say in that regard of just like how much do you love Cinderella as a story?
Hmm.
Like how much do you like it?
Honestly, this might be. I don't know if I've seen any other like full adaptations of it. Maybe when I was a kid, I saw the Disney one, but it's also just one of those things where, like, oh, through pop culture osmosis, you get the beats of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's been many modern remakes and adaptations, whether they're the Disney Renaissance, like the Disney live action affair, or you have like I think there was one. I want to say there's one with like Hilary Duff as Cinderella. That's like modern day.
Hmm.
That's like her on the poster wearing jeans and a dress.
Yeah, that's the big, mystery there. It's like, oh, have I seen one of these like modern takes on it that doesn't call itself Cinderella, but is clearly just doing the beats?
So, what do you want to talk about when it comes to Three Wishes for Cinderella?
Well, we can start with the characters. We have a bunch of colorful characters in this film. Like the first line of the film is from our stepmother character.
Mm-hmm.
Very obviously our villain, because that's who the villain is in Cinderella. And you mentioned costumes. She gets a lot of interesting ones, especially when she goes to the ball and she has the big headpiece. I was
Mm-hmm.
joking before this podcast, like, oh, it reminds me of Queen Amidala from Phantom Menace.
Now, I was saying that it's very much this costume designer's style. He had big hats and headdresses when he did the Sci-Fi Channel series version of Dune. He just had these big headpieces to represent royalty or decadence, and I saw them here and I went, "Oh, this is the microbe stage of the evolution for him with the big hats."
Stage 1.
Stage 1, the
Hit-
infection has started. Yeah,
Hit
yeah.
level 16, get to stage 2.
Yeah, the stepmom, she was delightful because she gets to be the unabashedly cruel and evil person,
Just
and
really petty.
she just loves what she's doing.
Oh,
And
Cinderella doesn't have any more work to do. Just picks up lentils, peas, drops them on the ground. It's like, separate them.
yeah, very much made me think of characters from this director's other work, like the How to Drown Dr. Magic the Lawyer. Like there was certain characters in that it made me think of. That's the one where remind me if it was this one where the like angry wife character becomes huge at the end, and the like Milos, I think it was Milos Kopecki's character, like has to live with her like in a shanty near this like riverside.
Yeah.
Made me think of her.
Yeah, and they're on like a little boat trip.
Yeah.
And they're laughing at him.
Made me think of her a bit, like that over the top big lady who shouts and does the horrible things. Yeah. There's a lot of colorful characters. So there's her.
Yeah, when I was testing the subtitle syncing, I had to hear her first line over and over and over again.
So there's her. There's obviously the stepsister character who she's kind of more nice than I was expecting.
Yeah, they kind of
There's like one moment where she's kind of a dick, and that's about it.
Yeah, they really just shift between the two. It's like she asks these questions. It's like, oh, do you want to come too? And it's like, oh, is that snide or is that sincere? I think it is meant to be snide.
Yeah.
But they don't push her as evil as the stepmom.
No, not at all. There's the moment where like she steps on the mixed of lentils things and like rubs it in, and while she's rubbing in the fact that Cinderella misses out.
Yeah, she's like, I'll tell you how many times I will dance with the prince.
That was it. Like that to me, that was like her big standout. Like, oh, that's a mean stepsister. The other times was like, I feel like she herself as a character, it's like, oh yeah, she's just doing what her mum says to do and hoping for the best. And I kind of was rooting for her at several points because she's actively pursuing things.
There was a throwaway line early on when there was the exposition about, Cinderella's dad, where she pointed out like, oh, Dad was so kind, he even loved the stepsister character.
Yeah, which is cute. This is a cute detail. We've got Cinderella herself. What did you think? Cinderella is one of those characters where they're both strongly defined and ill-defined as a character in just narrative sense. So what did you think of this portrayal and this take?
I think she was good. I think I liked all of her interactions with the various characters who she got along with. There's like the servant character that she's like, got familiarity with. She's got a little bit of a playful like rivalry with like that fat boy.
The little chef kid.
Yeah, the little chef kid.
With the most absurd little floppy hat.
Yeah, he gets to cross-dress at one point.
Yay.
That was fun. I like all of her little interactions with animals. It's very cute. I like with the birds, sitting on her, trying to kind of get away from her a little bit because they're birds, but also, these are my friends. And her dynamic with the prince, whatever we get, that is a little fun.
She has a bit of a bit of attitude. This Cinderella isn't just looking out the window wondering what could be. She has a bit of a surliness to her. She's not afraid to call a spade a spade. Yeah, she's a go-getter. And this actress is very magnetic of a presence. We enjoyed her in How to Drown Dr. Magic the Lawyer. Like, she wore like amazing fashion throughout that movie, and she just had like a playful kind of presence on screen, and she brings that here. I did have a guffaw at just the several times that you could just tell the production just throw birds at her, and it's just like they don't make movies like this anymore. They just don't make enough movies where it's like, just throw a bird. I always come back to when I think of animals in movies we've done on the podcast, because so many animals have appeared, of course, and I always make the joke of like, fun fact, that animal's dead now. But I always think of, when it comes to like handling of animals in a movie, I think of the feature film starring Sylvester Stallone called Oscar, where Kurtwood Smith is near a windowsill and there's a bunch of pigeons, and he clearly decided on his own that he was going to smack those pigeons, and it was so unprepared.
And they keep coming back.
And they keep coming back, and you could tell he didn't know what to do with that. And it was a joke that just happened naturally there. That was one where it's like, they didn't plan that. It just eventuated.
You should put him in Smack the Snakes. They keep coming back.
In this, he should have smacked the birds, and Cinderella keeps bringing them back. She's the reason they keep coming back. And he's like, no, no, damn it. And he's the evil stepfather in the narrative we just don't get a handle on.
Gender flip. That can be the modern Disney take.
Yeah, with Kurtwood Smith.
Kurtwood Smith is the evil stepfather to Cinderella. The male Cinderella.
And it's played by Topher Grace. And he never put up his ass.
He almost calls him a dumbass every time, but it's always slightly different.
Always slightly.
Dumb butt.
Yeah, Dumbo. And then they look at the camera and wink. and then you hear the Dumbo music play in the background. Yeah. Because it's modern Disney. They can't help but reference themselves over and over again. So we've got Cinderella. We've got the prince. He was my favorite. I loved the prince. I just love how blatantly gay the prince is in this movie.
I loved his parents.
The king and queen?
Yeah.
They felt like they had a little marriage needing of counseling between the two of them. It was awesome.
Yeah, the king and queen were great. But we'll start with the prince. He's always got his two friends with him.
Just two buddies. They just love to go hunting and smack each other in the buttocks.
No, they go studying.
They go studying, yeah.
Because they have a tutor with them who has his own soundtrack.
and was never not funny. He was good.
I like that by the
He looked
ending.
like a Blackadder character there, their tutor guy. He looked straight out of like first series Blackadder.
I agree, yes. And the film ends on him.
As it should.
Yeah,
It was
like,
amazing.
happy romantic ending, but the tutor's just doing his thing. And even his horse is dumpier looking than everyone else's horse.
He has like a fat horse. They really went out of their way with like the animals in this. There's so many of them. There's just like a million like animals. The king and queen, when there's one scene where they're talking to the prince and they're in like the courtroom and there's like a lavish fireplace and there's a dog laying on a bearskin rug and then there's another dog that's just kind of running around in the background. It's like, you don't need it, but I like that there's just a bunch of dogs in this scene.
That's the dog that was meant to be in Empire Records.
Oh, there's dog in every movie.
It snuck away to this film.
I wish.
There were so many animals no one noticed.
Yeah, but the prince he loves his two friends. They're just buddies. They just love to go studying / hunting together.
And practicing wooing women.
They loved to practice wooing women. They were just this. I'm not saying that the director had to cut the scene, but they were teaching each other how to kiss. It feels like it's that type of dynamic.
It's not gay. It's just practice.
It's just practice. It's just practice. Yeah, I don't know if you had that vibe from them when watching it, but they felt very flagrant and gay. These three little guys just running around in the snow,
They're
dressed
giant
up
crossbows.
like Robin Hood in these leotards and pointy hats, and just smacking each other and grabbing each other and looking like they're madly in love. That's how it felt to me. I wanted more time with the prince and his bros in quotations. You know what I mean? His buddies.
His bro brides.
They're just roommates. That's all they are. They're just roommates. They're just bunk buddies.
Do princes have roommates?
Yeah, why not? The princes can have anything they want.
I guess.
Why not? They can have roommates.
He just wants to hang out with his buddies. Doesn't want to get married. That's actually his conflict.
That is the conflict.
Yeah.
And he's just such a prick about it. I liked him. I thought his performance was one of the standouts of the movie, was the prince. And I even bought the turn of like him falling in love with Cinderella, just more so from the actor himself than the story or script. His demeanor changed in a way that was very telegraphed, but appropriately done.
I liked his parents.
Oh, go on, talk about them then.
King and Queen. Yeah, they just have they had a really good chemistry together. It wasn't just that, like, oh, this is the king character, like, oh, you need to, wise up, you need to get a bride, you need to move on when I was your age, da-da-da-da-da. The Queen character brings in the history of this character, where she was like, oh, but you were like that as well. And he's like, oh, was I? She was very teasing of him throughout the whole film, giving, backstory to him. And their relationship and all of their little like bits of commentary during the ball where, it's like, oh, is that my son? It's like, yeah, that's your son right now. And he's actually doing the thing.
He's a bad dancer, just like how you were with me.
There was that whole exchange. I think it was in the first scene when they're at the castle where, what was it? It was like oh yeah, he was talking about like, oh, when I was your age, I was this kind of good dancer, and then the Queen was like, but you were stepping on my feet the first time we danced. Like, oh, but it was before that, and then she was like, you told me it was your first time. Just the way he gets nervous so many times, just her bringing up things like that. It was funny every time for me.
He wants to have a legacy that matters, and he wants his lineage to continue on, and he wants his son to be serious. But he's so much like how he was, and in the end, it all worked out, didn't it? You didn't tell your parents about me, and you eloped, and we had this. Yeah, they had a very shared, lived-in, homey type of relationship.
Yeah.
When we talk about too, again, for those who may not have watched this film, when they're like making little jabs or little things at each other, it's always done in this very low-key, playful, light-hearted way. There's no animosity or venom or any kind of tit for tat between these two, and it's not like he's the nervous Nelly husband and she's like the taskmaster. They just feel like you could plop these two in a modern day context and they would be side characters in a sitcom.
Yeah.
And that's how they work, and it's all the better for it.
Yeah. At his worst, he's just impatient. He's not like, a tyrant or anything.
And he's super nice to everyone. Like, even the stepmother, even the stepdaughter, all the subjects. He comes over, he gives them like a beer and just wishes them well and gives like a polite wave. And, at most he may raise his eyebrow at his son choosing the big woman in the red dress to dance with. And even then, he's not even like,
he's just
perturbed. He's like, oh, I didn't know my son, I guess.
I didn't know my son's tastes, I guess.
There was a behind-the-scenes trivia about that woman, too, where it was unscripted in the dance that she picked him up, and that he looked like he shits himself in fear because of that. And I'm like, the sad thing is, when you watch it, they cut away so quickly, so you don't really get to linger on his reaction, his real reaction. But I think that's awesome for that one woman who's like, I'm here to do a bit in this movie, and I'm going to go that extra mile for it. Yeah, the Queen, she was good. Again, it made me think of like first series Blackadder.
Yeah.
A lot. Not to like that lunatic degree, but definitely has like the aesthetic and some of those character archetypes. And when I was watching, I was thinking, oh, Bartek will enjoy this because it does have like those snowy landscapes, the castles, all of that made me think of like that first series of Blackadder, which is a favorite of yours.
Weirdly enough, I didn't actually think of Blackadder the first too much, but yeah, talking about it, it's like, yeah, it's all there.
It is. But
just needed a Harry.
Yeah, we needed a Harry. I guess that was the dog. But
Silly Billy, according to our subtitles.
It's time to talk about the best character of the movie, though.
Whoever did the subtitles.
The subtitles themselves.
So they did this very iconic 70s thing called putting emoticons in a couple of lines.
Because as you stated, this was a little bit difficult to find with perfect English subtitles and good visuals. There is, like, I looked at one on YouTube after the movie because I was just curious, because I was like, I could link this to someone, and they did have like the captioning subtitles, and it looked okay, but I only watched it for a brief moment. It seemed to line up fine, but I didn't give it the full look through. But it was that thing of, you told me for months on end now, a very long time, about I had to watch this movie, parts of it over and over again to get the subtitles to sync up. I hope the subtitles sync up. Me, first 5 minutes in, I don't know if the audio's synced up because of the people. I didn't realize people speak in their own language, then dubbed over. I was like, oh no, Bartek. I was going to be like, oh no, the audio isn't lined up. And but then I watched more of the movie, it was fine. But there comes that little surprise. It's not immediate.
It takes a while.
Like,
I was wondering what the quirk you were talking about was.
And then a little while into the movie, emoticons pop up to end some of these phrases and sentences and conversations characters have. And here's the thing. They're always the correct emoticon to use for what they're doing and in the movie, in the performance, and of what they're saying. So whoever did this, it wasn't just like some glitch in the system or accident. They sat down and really thought it through.
Yeah, especially there was the tutor character was really upset that, like, oh, the princess ran away again. And they ended his line with like the semicolon, underscore, semicolon, like crying.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's exactly right.
There were so many in the back half. It was like
cheeky ones where it's like a smile, but with like a greater than. So it's like a, grimacing smile.
It was so amazing. And I thought, Bartek probably has already watched the movie, but I didn't want to give too much away, so I wrote in our chat, like, hey, this film has an interesting quirk, and I love it. And that was all I had to say. And you never replied to me until we got to this podcast
because
right now.
By the time I watched the film, it was late. I'm like, he's probably asleep. But
I was not.
Yes, you were telling me you were awake. You stayed up late.
I said, we're on holidays now, so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But
they even added a line to when the horse nodded.
Yeah. Again, these are the things that are awesome about.
It's like, you think I should go up, right? The horse nods and the subject goes, yup, smiley face.
What else do you want to say about Three Wishes for Cinderella? I must admit I am struggling because it
Mm.
is just such a simply told movie. The direction isn't absurd or lavish or particularly noteworthy. It's just very stock standard. It is very much about the aesthetic. It's the
Mm.
aesthetic, some of these performances, the costumes, the snowy landscapes. But to me, there's no like, oh, the interesting wrinkle is she has three wishes from these chestnuts that she's given from the stagecoach driver played by Vladimir. I'm forgetting his last name, but
Oh,
that actor that's in
so
every.
who was in this film then?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, there
He
you
was
go.
he is so recognizable to me because he has like these chipmunk cheeks
I wasn't
and a
100%
very
sure, but I'm like,
very shallow upper lip that he often has a mustache over, but sometimes not, and the slicked hair. And yeah, we've had him in Lemonade. We knew him from Lemonade Joe. That was the first thing. He was the
Yeah,
bartender
yeah.
in Lemonade Joe, who we loved as the bartender because he was just a surly guy who just didn't. He didn't say too much, but he looked exactly like a bartender in the Old West.
When
You
you
know?
have a film industry where, character actors are so great, you got to have the character actor guy.
Oh yeah, and he's been leads in things too. There's one that I've always wanted to get around to called Happy End. That's the one where the film's in reverse.
That's the backwards one,
That's the
yeah.
backwards film,
Yeah,
and
we need
he's
to
the
check that
lead.
out.
He's the lead in that, and that film's only just an hour long, maybe a bit less, because again, it knows with its gimmick you don't need it to be 2 hours or 90 minutes long or whatever. So, but what else do you want to say about Three Wishes for Cinderella?
Yeah, we are kind of at the grasping at straws element, aren't we? Um, yeah, I liked the fairy tale vibe of like, oh, get me the first thing that hits your nose, and it's something just falls out of a nest at him because the prince hit it with a crossbow, and it just ends up being like a magical thing. It's a fun element.
And the wishes, they're very simple wishes, and there's not like big gotcha,
Hmm.
catcher out repercussions
Yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
they're not
Just
monkey paws.
they're not monkey paws, but they're
Oh,
not
I
like they get her in major trouble
hmm.
either. I liked when when she was doing the dance and she had the beautiful pink outfit and the veil on her face. I thought that was just a really good scene. One of the details I liked was there was enough ability to see her face under the veil, but still enough to obscure it. That's always something that bothers me in
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
where it's like clearly it's either on one end too much.
You're obscured but visualized enough to
Mm-hmm.
recognize. Yeah. With the actual wishes themselves, with the exception of the third one, I like that with the first two wishes, she wishes for clothes every time essentially, and you see them come out of the hazelnut or chestnut,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was. With with the first one, it was like this extreme close up, so it was this. It kind of soldered on this idea that like, oh, in this tiny thing there was this whole dress, and with the second one there was like a special effect of like the clothes materializing.
Yeah. And there's the owl that is often there for these as well that she
Mm.
talks to, and it just has
Yeah.
a reaction
Every-
shot.
Every single wish is in front of Rosetta or whatever the name was, Rosarka.
And the owl just like makes a face, and you're like, I get it, owl. Thanks for your advice. And then she does the wish, and I just like that she has an owl friend.
Yeah, I forgot the owl when I was listing animals earlier, didn't
No,
I?
I said the owl.
Oh, you did. You got
we
my
covered
back.
the owl, and I covered the fox. So there
Yeah.
were all these animals. There's a lot of animals, as I said. I the dancing was good too. Actually,
Yeah, it looked fun.
It looked good, and I liked it's masterful stuff to think of. As the bad dancing looks effectively bad too. Like it wasn't to such a ludicrous degree bad, but you could tell it just wasn't proper.
Yeah, it's clumsy enough.
Yeah, it wasn't like his bad dancing, the prince's bad dancing was played for much comedy. It was just like a fact of his character that he steps on their toes. Like when given this premise, you could imagine like the Bob Hope version of that story being done where I'm stepping on the shoes of the people and slipping and slopping and oh no, and I've grabbed the hanging on the wall and I pulled it down and the band's fallen over.
The gag later on of like, oh, when the pretty girl enters and everyone like turns and like the two waiters crash into each other, like that could have been part of the bad dancing.
But the only thing that they have in terms of the kind of silliness in the dance moves, the dance sequences, is whenever the band stops, it becomes so eerily quiet, and then they're like, what why did you stop playing music? And the band looking guilty. It's like, oh yeah, why did we stop? There is no reason often. It's just like they just stopped and there's like, why did you stop playing? Play more music. And they're like, oh yes, indeed.
Well,
why did we do that?
It was because the main girl entered and then left.
I love that. Again, the movie logic gets called out. It's like, why did you stop playing? Oh yeah, that's right. We should know that we're in some kind of narrative moment.
Even speaking of like, you know, putting it realism, not too exaggerated, like even doing the thing where like, you know, pretty girl enters and like everyone she passes turns to look, even those were done kind of subtly.
Yeah, there was a lot more subtlety to this than I think pretty much like most of the Czech films. And out of this filmmaker's filmography,
Of
I
the
would
three,
say
yeah.
this is my favorite of his, even though I may have less substantive things to say, because I think it was coherent. I found that with this director in particular, I do struggle with his tones, and I do struggle with what's the like lore, because like with the Dr. Marchek one,
That one's heavy.
that one's like got weird lore that's hard to keep up with. This is Cinderella, so you have the building blocks, you have the foundation there. And with Girl on the Broomstick, that one too was like, what's the rules? There's none of that matters here, and it's just a lot more narratively and tonally coherent. So I may not love this director as much, but I do like seeing his work because each one has been different to the other, which is something to commend, but you definitely feel like the voice. There's something about he's got like a very mannered style to his directions, even though he does have some crazy things go on in his movies. Like in the Drowning of Dr. Marchek one, I think of like the effect that they used when it was like they're downstairs and it's like full of water. I think about that a lot, and just like
and like the
all
difference
of the
between
tricks of the trade that they use to make that come across as real.
Yeah, like the water sprites are just fine down there, but the humans are like literally underwater.
Yeah. And just how they blend those two together, it was really effective.
Even with The Girl on the Broomstick, which I agree is probably my least favorite of the Czech films we've watched, like the visuals and costumes and stuff of that were really good, and I always think back to those positive elements of the film.
Indeed. So, Three Wishes for Cinderella is a holiday staple for some areas in Europe. You know, as we even said, there's a modern remake of this film from another country. I can't remember if that was...
Was it Norway?
I think that was Norwegian as well. And, you know, people may not like that, but it is something where this take on Cinderella has a certain appeal over there.
Yeah,
and
Norwegian.
we may not understand why that is, but there's so many movies or shows or pieces of art and media that may not be directly linked to Christmas or Halloween or Easter or whatever given holiday you want to go to, but like you engage with it during a time of year because it just has a mood. When we do Spooky Month on our podcast, we sometimes choose movies that aren't like directly horror or directly like, you know, like supernatural.
Yeah, not even fantastical.
But they just have that October Halloween feel to it.
Yeah.
And
we need to do more erotic thrillers, though. We haven't done them.
We haven't done. Yeah, we need to do more. We need to do more. But there was something about like Three Wishes for Cinderella where it's like that. This fits that mold, but for, you know, winter time in the northern hemisphere and, you know, end of year Christmas aesthetic. Where I was thinking, like, whenever we do end of year, we have to do a holiday film, and oftentimes they're Christmas films, even though there are other religious celebrations at this time of year too. But also just the idea of, you know, end of year has so many connotations, whether we could do a New Year's movie or you know, things like that. And this is one to me where I do like that we have one in the catalog now of here's a December movie we can watch. And it's not like, oh, we covered another Christmas movie, we covered another, like, you know, Santa Claus fights the Martians and things like that. This is just one where it's like, here's a classic fable, a classic fairy tale you all know, done in the 70s. Like, it has that 70s aesthetic by a country that has, like, their own take on it. It's not like a drastically bizarre take, but it is a different take on it. So I would actually recommend this to people. Like, it's an easy watch. It's a quick watch. Like I said, I would like it if it was a bit shorter because it just feels like you could hit some points a bit quicker. But even then, this isn't like, oh my god, the pacing ruins the movie at all. That was just my own personal preference. But I would say like this is one that is worth seeking out, especially if you know you're getting cozy up with the family, you have a fire going, you watch this on the TV in the background while you're cooking up stuff or chatting, and you can just like
Yeah, you
what's
got some
happening on the
kids with
screen.
you, they can check it out too.
Yeah, yeah.
If they know how to read subtitles or if they know the language.
Yeah, let's get the English dub in for this.
Trivia was saying that most of the countries in Europe had their own dub of it, at least.
Not at all surprising. So would you recommend Three Wishes for Cinderella?
I would too recommend it, yeah. Simple film, it's done well, a couple of fun elements there. I think, yeah, it's a good one.
When it comes to fairy tales,
Mhm.
do you have a favorite, or did you have a favorite as a kid? Like, of a fairy tale story? Because, like, someone must have Cinderella as, like, one of their go-tos, right? Like, this story just keeps enduring. Did you ever have one when you were younger that you liked? I know, it's a hard thing to think about.
I'm trying to think of examples of fairy tales now.
Fairy tales, folk tales.
Does Cinderella count as a fairy tale?
I mean, in some versions, there's literally a fairy godmother.
I guess, yes, it is literally a tale of a fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good one. I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I really liked the Disney Pinocchio film. Does that count as a fairy tale? It's
I would say
been
so.
retold.
Again, this is the thing. Like, what counts as a fairy tale? I was thinking Peter Pan as well, to some degree. But yeah, these type of children's stories that are magical and they kind of just you could redo them again and again and again.
Yeah, I've never actually seen an actual adaptation of A Christmas Carol, but I've seen a bunch of like parodies, like the Blackadder one. I always enjoy those.
Next year we do the Robert Zemeckis Christmas Carol film, where it's CGI Jim Carrey flying around. We can watch that one if you want.
Was this a couple of years ago?
No.
Oh, when was
this was like mid 2000s.
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah, it was Polar Express, like his Christmas Carol. Robert Zemeckis doing like the weird, creepy CGI motion capture thing where it's got the uncanny valley effect. But that's enough talk of that. Now it's time to hear what we shall be doing next. So we're going to be taking a break for a while. We don't know exactly how long, but we always come back sometime in January, so we won't be.
Well, a couple of years ago, we came back in March.
Don't mention that. But we will be back soon enough in 2026, and it is your recommendation next, Bartek. So how about you tell everyone what we're doing for next year, if there's a theme, and what is your recommendation?
Sure. So my recommendation is not going to fit the theme, but we're thinking the theme for next year is going to be kind of the opposite of what we had for this year. So this year was the year of the old films. So films that are from, decades back in the 20th century. We had a good range. We had one from the 20s, a couple from the 30s, 40s to
50s, 60s.
Yeah, 40s through 70s and 80s had quite a number in this past year. But we're thinking for this one, like, try to think of ones from literally the past 10 years, films that came out during the time we were podcasting, maybe even focusing on ones that we missed.
Or ones that we want the other person to check out in case they did not get to see it.
I did not go to the cinema as much in the past decade as I had the rest of my life before that, so there's quite a lot.
That'll be something to talk about, because when we first started the podcast, you were going to the movies fairly regularly. I would want to say, and you can correct me if you disagree with this, it was fairly on the regular enough until the Joker. Till Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, then it kind of slowed down. Obviously, pandemic and so many other things.
Well, I remember in 2018, that was like the year where it's like I only saw 2 films, and then I remembered like, oh no, there was actually 3.
There you go. But what is your recommendation to kick us off for 2026?
Sure. So I wanted to think of something that would be a bit of an easier film to come back to. It's one that we've both seen before. It's one that you really like and one that I want to give another chance. It's also one that I've said multiple times, like, oh yeah, you can pick that at some point, but I'll bite the bullet and
Okay.
I'll pick it now. And it's also going to be us revisiting a director, and this is the only film of his that we haven't yet covered on the podcast. So,
nice.
Ryan, do you know what it is?
Is it Millennium Actress?
It's Millennium Actress from 2000 and something.
From
I think.
the director Satoshi Kon.
Yes, 2001, and it's Satoshi Kon, his second film of the 4 that he directed.
Only 4. Crazy to think about. He worked on many films, but only directed 4.
Yeah, and anime.
Yeah. And he had a show as well.
He had a show, yeah, but he also did like animation and other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he worked on other films like Pat Labor.
Yes.
That we've already done.
Things
So
like
yes, we will be doing Millennium Actress 2001. So everyone make sure to find a copy of that. I think in the last year or so, they've done a 4K release of that.
They definitely did Perfect Blue. I don't know about.
I think there was.
Actress.
I think so, but I may be wrong. But there's been some interesting films getting like upgraded releases, like Angel's Egg recently got one. So, but this will be fun to check out because yes, as you said, different reactions to this film between the two of us.
I think I literally watched it, like, I watched Paranoia Agent, and I liked it, and I immediately watched Perfect Blue, and I think then I immediately watched Millennium Actress, so I had a stacked viewing before it, so I'd like to watch it on its own.
Watch it on its own terms.
Yeah.
So that will be it. Thank you all so much for listening along. We hope that you've enjoyed our discussion here, as well as any other episodes in our back catalogue. 2025 was a big year.
Mm-hmm.
We covered a lot of movies, and we covered a wide array of genres and eras and actors that kept popping up in different ways at random. We're like, oh yeah, here's Tony Randall again, and you're like, I didn't even recognize him. It's like, dude, we just did Pillow Talk like less than a month ago.
It was like a month and a half.
A month? Wasn't it a month and a half? Okay, yeah. But
it's like start of November.
But then in that same episode, you were like, well, clearly you remember that this person was in a movie we did like 8 years ago. I'm like, okay.
In that episode?
Yeah. What was it? We were talking in that episode. We were talking about David Carradine. We talked about David Carradine, and you were like, didn't we have David Carradine because his dad was in the Woody Allen movie, John Carradine. And we mentioned David Carradine, and you're like,
and he was in Big Stan.
And you remembered that.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
And I did not. And then you were like, yeah, well, Ryan, your point is you think I would remember. It's like, but you remember that David Carradine was in Big Stan.
He farted in that film. And Emmett Walsh smelt it and reacted.
And you remember that Emmett Walsh was there.
Because he smelt the fart.
Whoever smelt it dealt it. That's the rules.
And then we did a gag where we reacted to a fart at the end of the episode, remember?
Yeah, now I remember. I remember Big Stan very much because we had a very lively conversation about it. But that is it, everyone. You can find us on the social medias of Facebook and Twitter, Spit and Polish Presents, all of the podcasting sites, as well as YouTube. Our show can be found, so make sure to rate, review, and or leave a comment about the things that we have discussed here today. If you do want to give us film recommendations, if there are any films that you think we should check out, whether new or old or ones that did come out in the last 10 years that perhaps we missed out on, or you think, hey, how come they haven't got an episode about this movie? They should do that. Hit us up on our social medias or our email address, which is...
Our email address is spitandpolished@gmail.com, which you can see with your eyes in the description.
In the D box, as they call it, as the kids call it, in the description box, the D box.
The DB.
Everything is there for your convenience. But until next time, listening people, remember to be kind to each other and don't miss out on your studies, or else Bartek's going to shake his fist and say, no.
And I'm going to get a tattoo of _semicolon on my forehead.
Let me tell you, 10 years ago when we started this podcast, we learned a lot about the history of the
episode.
semicolon.
We heard 2 versions of it. One in a film and one from our dear friend William.